I'm Paul Shurik. I work with the Oyster Recovery Partnership. We're an Annapolis-based nonprofit organization. We work with watermen, the commercial seafood industry, the oyster aquaculture industry, really everywhere in the Maryland footprint of the Chesapeake Bay. We put 700 million oysters a year on sanctuary reefs in the Chesapeake Bay. We also put a similar number of oysters on public fishery reefs for commercial watermen to harvest as they grow. We also work very closely with Maryland's oyster aquaculture industry, which is growing rapidly every year. It essentially did not exist until about 5 or 6 years ago. Now it's a thriving industry. It's growing each year by probably 10 or more %. And we work with all of these folks here at the farmers market to help them bring their commercial seafood directly to consumers. We felt that people who shop in farmers markets are especially sensitive and interested in sort of the very local, very fresh Maryland-produced seafood. So this is our first year here in the Baltimore City farmers market. We've been in other farmers markets around the state. This is by far our largest operation, our largest entry, and it's going terrific. We're here every Sunday, and some of these guys are selling into the raw bar, into the half-shell market, particularly the cage-grown oysters, because they are so uniform and because they're so attractive. The cage-grown oysters are it's a premium oyster that the raw bars prefer. Otherwise, these are available. These are the same kind of oysters that you'll see in Maryland restaurants. Hopefully these are the restaurants that are they're identifying as Maryland. They're trying to bring a local Maryland product to their consumers. Much like what we're discovering here, there's a demand for locally produced seafood, and so this is kind of a standard Maryland oyster that you'll see in restaurants, raw bars in Baltimore and elsewhere in the state. The oysters will keep and travel well, but you can be sure that if there's a Louisiana oyster being sold here in Maryland, it's probably close to a week old. And again, that's why we're here at this farmers market, because we want to supply that the demand for the very local, very fresh products. One of the things we enjoy is talking to the folks that shop at these markets, and these folks will eat them ranging from kind of naked with nothing on them, to you'll see other people loading up every condiment that we have out there on the table. They're sit there slurping them down as fast as Corey can shut them. But it's always a treat to watch the difference in how people prefer to eat them. But I'm a traditionalist. I like them with nothing on them.
My name is Corey Bacon. I'm an oyster shucker with the ORP. My favorite Maryland oyster is probably the skinny dipper. A nice, full-bodied, soft salt oyster. They come clean off the shell. It's in terms of taste and presentation, the best I've seen, the best I've handled, and the best I've had. You shuck an oyster very carefully, but the trick to shucking an oyster is you got to make sure it's stable. You have to make sure you have the proper tool or knife to get into the oyster.
Eat more oysters. They're delicious. You help improve the Chesapeake Bay, and you support a local economy of local watermen.